In 1947, a young Bedouin shepherd was looking for a lost goat among the limestone cliffs near the Dead Sea. He threw a stone into a narrow cave opening and heard the sound of shattering pottery. Squeezing inside, he discovered ancient clay jars containing dark leather scrolls wrapped in linen. The teenager had no idea he was holding the greatest manuscript discovery of the 20th century. This was Qumran, where the intense desert heat and near-zero humidity perfectly preserved the texts for over 2,000 years. The boy sold the scrolls to a local shoemaker for just $28, as neither could read the ancient script. When the manuscripts finally reached scholars, the scientific world was stunned. These Dead Sea Scrolls were the oldest biblical copies ever found. Among them was a complete scroll of the Book of Isaiah from 125 BC. 1,000 years older than any previously known Hebrew text. For decades, critics claimed biblical books were late inventions written long after the events. The scrolls proved them wrong. When compared with modern versions, experts found that scribes had preserved the sacred words almost perfectly, letter by letter, over 10 centuries. While the scrolls proved the text's accuracy, they didn't prove the historical existence of its characters. For centuries, mainstream historians treated King David as a myth, a legend like King Arthur, completely lacking evidence outside the Bible. In 1993, that skepticism was shattered. During excavations at Tel Dan in northern Israel, archaeologists found a triangular piece of dark basalt stone built into an ancient wall. It had been reused as construction material, with its inscriptions facing inward. When decoded, the Aramaic text revealed a victory monument from an enemy king, likely Hazael of Damascus, bragging about his military triumphs. Among his defeated enemies, he explicitly listed the King of Israel and the King of the House of David. Those three Aramaic letters spelling House of David changed biblical archaeology forever. It was the first independent historical proof that David's royal dynasty actually existed, matching the biblical timeline perfectly. Our next discovery takes us directly to Jerusalem. In 1979, Professor Gabriel Barkay was excavating ancient burial caves at Ketef Hinnom. Deep inside a tomb, hidden under centuries of debris, researchers found two tiny silver scrolls rolled tightly like miniature cigarettes. They were so fragile it took laboratory experts 3 years just to unroll them. Under a microscope, the silver sheets revealed lines of Paleo-Hebrew script. It was the priestly blessing from the Book of Numbers. The Lord bless you and keep you, the Lord make his face shine upon you. Dated to the 6th century BC, these amulets are 400 years older than the Dead Sea Scrolls, making them the earliest surviving fragments of a biblical text on earth. They also contain the oldest extra-biblical mention of the name Yahweh. Critics argued the books of Moses were written after the Babylonian exile, but these amulets proved the Torah was already being quoted while Solomon's temple was still standing. In 1868, German missionary Frederick Klein was traveling through Jordan when local Bedouins led him to a massive black basalt monument near the ruins of Dibon. This was the Mesha stele, erected around 840 BC by King Mesha of Moab. In 34 lines, the king describes how his god, Chemosh, helped him throw off Israelite rule after King Ahab's death. This exact war is recorded in the Bible in the second book of Kings, but told from the opposing side. The stone is the longest Iron Age inscription found in the region and mentions Israel, Yahweh, and the House of David. However, its recovery was pure drama. A fierce bidding war broke out between French and British diplomats. Suspicious locals, thinking the stone held a hidden fortune, heated it over a fire, poured cold water on it, and shattered it into pieces. Luckily, a French scholar had already made a paper impression of the text. The shards were later reassembled, and the stele now stands in the Louvre. In 2015, archaeologist Eilat Mazar discovered a tiny piece of baked clay, barely a centimeter wide, near the Temple Mount. It was a bulla, a royal seal impression reading, belonging to Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judah. This was the first time a seal of a Judean king was found in an official scientific excavation. King Hezekiah also left behind an incredible engineering marvel. The Bible states that facing an imminent Assyrian siege, Hezekiah ordered an underground tunnel carved through solid rock to redirect water from the Gihon spring outside the walls into the pool of Siloam inside the city. Today, tourists can still walk through this 533-meter S-shaped tunnel. Two teams of laborers dug from opposite ends in total darkness, meeting perfectly in the middle without compasses or modern tools. An inscription found on the tunnel wall in 1880 vividly describes the historic moment the diggers finally heard each other's voices through the rock. Hezekiah's tunnel emptied into a massive reservoir, but that pool was lost for centuries until 2004, when city workers were repairing a broken sewage pipe. Their bulldozers hit massive stone steps leading downward. Archaeologists halted the work and uncovered a monumental plaza with wide staircases. This was the authentic pool of Siloam. According to the Gospel of John, this is where Jesus healed a man blind from birth. Skeptics long argued the pool was a purely mythical metaphor, but the discovery proved the narrative was tied to a real location. The grand steps were built to handle thousands of ancient pilgrims who used the waters for ritual bathing before ascending to the temple. Our next finds bring us face to face with the key figures of the crucifixion narrative. In 1990, a construction bulldozer accidentally broke through the roof of an ancient burial cave in Jerusalem. Inside were 12 limestone bone boxes, called ossuaries. One was magnificently decorated and etched with the name, Joseph, son of Caiaphas. Caiaphas was the high priest who presided over the trial of Jesus. The box contained the bones of a 60-year-old man from that exact era. While Caiaphas passed judgment, a Roman official had to authorize it. In 1961, Italian archaeologists were excavating a Roman theater in Caesarea. They found a limestone block that later builders had reused as a regular step. For centuries, people walked over it, unaware of what was written on the underside. When flipped, the Latin inscription clearly read, Pontius Pilate, prefect of Judea. This stone proved Pilate's existence and corrected modern historians, confirming his true title was prefect, not procurator. The final discovery takes us to Jericho, located in the Jordan Valley. Excavations in the 1950s revealed at least 14 layers of occupation dating back to 9000 BC, making it one of the oldest inhabited cities on Earth. Long before the rise of Egypt, Jericho had massive stone walls and an 8-meter watchtower. The Book of Joshua states that Jericho's walls collapsed after the Israelites marched around them for 7 days. Archaeologists discovered a clear Bronze Age destruction layer showing that the city's heavy fortifications literally collapsed outward, followed by a fire that burned the entire settlement. While debates over the exact date continue, the violent fall of Jericho's walls is a physical fact, leading UNESCO to declare it a World Heritage Site in 2023. From the ancient stone walls of Jericho to the tomb of Caiaphas, thousands of years of history are locked within these discoveries. Amazingly, almost every single one was found completely by accident, a shepherd throwing a stone, a broken sewage pipe, or a construction bulldozer. None were planned, yet each one reshaped history. How many more secrets are still waiting in the dirt? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.